including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Oh, you're a little freak, P. Diddy. Because 10 bottles of baby oil isn't enough. They need 1,000. The hammers finally come down on P. Diddy, but not the way he likes to.
Did he do it or did he not?
Hammer, if you know what I mean. P. Diddy has been charged with racketeering conspiracy, trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He was arrested yesterday in New York. I can't even put into words how unbelievably cooked this guy is. I'm about to read the indictment. His defense team also has a $50 million bail package they proposed. This guy is absolutely insane, psychopath, but here we go. Hit subscribe. Let's go, boys. All right, right here we got the United States versus Sean Combs indictment. For decades, Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy P. Diddy, the defendant abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on his employees, resources, and influence of multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. So basically, he's the f***ing devil. Sorry. I know.
P. Diddy is fucked. All right?
Funny, but headquartered at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles under a variety of United States-based corporate entities, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, Combs Global. Corporate entities in the Combs business included, among other things, record labels, a recording studio, apparel line, alcoholic spirit business, marketing agency, and television network and media company. Engaged in persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse towards women and other individuals. This abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. He manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers.
No,
this is where
yo, I'm telling you, this is a freaky ass nigga, man. This is a freaky ass nigga, bro.
It's sus. Bro was forcing women to have sex with other men. Like, straight, he's a cuck. At times, Combs and others acted as direction, made arrangements for women and other commercial sex workers to fly to his location. Combs ensured participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off at the same time using intimidation and violence. So cornering them by all ways you can imagine to force them to have sex with random men because he's cuck. Physical abuse. We all saw the video in the hotel of him running in a damn robe numerous occasions from 2009. Combs assaulted women by striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. These assaults were at times witnessed by others and included one instance at a Los Angeles hotel in 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman she was attempting to leave. When a member of hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the
remember these movies like he's like, you know, Tina Turner's husband, Ike Turner. Like, Diddy's like 20 times that.
Staff member to ensure silence. It was not limited to these women. It extended to his employees, witnesses, and abuse to others. He used his business to cover up his abuse and commercial sex. His employees, including security staff, household staff, personal assistants, high-ranking supervisors, and other close associates, acted as Combs intermediaries. Members and associates of Combs Enterprise engaged in and attempted to engage in sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. So they're saying the Combs Enterprise is constituted as an enterprise as defined by Title 18 United States Code. That is a group of individuals associated, in fact, although not a legal entity. Members functioned as a continuing unit for a common purpose of achieving the objectives of Combs Enterprise. Defendant and others, known and unknown, participated in unlawful and other activities related to the conduct of Combs Enterprise affairs, operating a global business in the media, entertainment, and lifestyle industries, record label, recording studio, blah, blah, blah. We already know all this. Enriching members and associates of the enterprise, including its leader, and particularly those who demonstrated loyalty to Combs and willingness to conceal his crimes. Yikes. So are they charging other people in his business? I would imagine they have to, right? I'm sure there's a few people that went through great lengths and broke the law.
Bro, everybody's getting indicted, and then when everybody gets indicted, everybody's snitching, bro. That's just what it is.
As well. Preserving, protecting, and promoting, enhancing the power of Combs Enterprise, including the power of its leader through violence, use of firearms, threats of violence, coercion, verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. Protecting the Combs Enterprise and its members and associates, including Combs, from detection and prosecution by law enforcement authorities through acts of intimidation, manipulation, bribery, and threats of retaliation against individuals who witnessed the crimes committed by members and associates of the enterprise. That's bad. So there's clearly some, serious witness intimidation evidence in this case as well. Combs and other members and associates of the Combs Enterprise wielded the power and prestige of Combs' role at the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship, used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with the males, commercial sex workers. Combs referred to as other things as.
So, bro, he was getting his shorties to have sex with other dudes while he watched and used his power and his leverage over their head. This dude is all different. This dude is a different type of dude.
Freak offs. So we've heard about this freak off situation. This man is a weirdo. Freak offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, and masturbated during, and often recorded. In arranging these freak offs, Combs, with assistance of members and associates of the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. Freak offs occurred regularly. He distributed drugs to victims, in part to keep victims obedient and compliant. Unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept videos he filmed of victims engaging in sex acts with commercial sex workers. After freak offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. I mean, there's no.
Bro, what? This guy had a whole medical lab, like freak offs, and then after freak offs, we gonna give you some IV. Like, what is going on?
This guy's the devil. But remember, he's presumed innocent. High-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff facilitated the freak-offs by, and other things, booking hotel rooms, stocking the hotel rooms in advance with required freak-off supplies, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, linens, lighting, cleaning the hotel rooms to try to mitigate room damage, arranging for travel for victims and sex workers, and Combs to and from the freak-offs, resupplying Combs with the requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to Combs to pay commercial sex workers, and scheduling the delivery of IV fluids. What a freaky little fucker. During this search of Combs' residences in Miami, Florida, Los Angeles, law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies. Is this real life? Are we really reading this? Including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Oh, you're a little freak, P. Diddy. Because 10 bottles of baby oil isn't enough. They need 1,000. Subject to
1,000 bottles of, bro, 1,000 bottles of baby oil, chat. Do you know how much baby oil that is? Like, how much people did he have in his freak off? Was it like 1,000 people? Was it hundreds? Like, I don't think they mentioned how much, but it seems like big parties. Like, motherfucker was ordering Johnson & Johnson by the barrel.
Victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse. The victims to engage in freak-offs. Maintain control over his victims through and among physical violence. Promises of career opportunities. That's a fucked up one. I mean, this is all fucked up, but like,
that's some 90s shit.
To withhold financial support and other coercive means, including tracking their whereabouts, dictating the victim's appearance, monitoring their medical records, controlling their housing, supplying.
What? Monitoring their medical records?
With controlled substances, threatened the victims' careers and livelihoods, including if they resisted in participating in the freak-offs. Combs also used the sensitive, embarrassing, incriminating recordings that he made during freak-offs as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence. He might be a psychopath. Combs himself carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses. During the search of Combs' residence in Miami, Florida, LA victims and witnesses. During the search of Combs' residence in Miami, Florida, LA seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers.
This guy had scratched off AR-15. Multi-billionaire, by the way. Not millionaire. Billionaire.
As well as a drum magazine. The defaced serial numbers is that's a felony right there, right? Control over victims by following his directions regarding financial payments to victims, advancing or suppressing the victim's career opportunities. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise at times witness Combs' violence towards the victims without intervening. Instead, members and associates of Combs enterprise help conceal the violence and abuse. Occasions include instances where a victim was required to remain in hiding for several days at a time to recover from the injuries. When Combs' authority or reputation was threatened by the possibility of negative publicity or legal law enforcement action against him, including in or about late 2023, so recently. Combs and
bro, I've been saying this. I said 50 been saying this shit, bro. Like, bro, at the end of the day, like, Mace, right? Mace was on top of the world, like, biggest rapper, and just, like, left and went straight to, like, church. Like, that was his way out. I'm telling you, bro.
Members of Associates of Enterprise pressured witnesses and victims, including through attempted bribery, to stay silent, not report what they experienced in law enforcement. On phone calls, Combs and other members of Associates of the Enterprise, among other things, provided the victims and witnesses with the false narrative of events in an effort to conceal his crimes. The racketeering conspiracy knowingly combined, conspired, confederated, and agreed together and with each other to violate the racketeering laws of the United States, conduct and participate directly and indirectly in the conduct of affairs of the Combs Enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity, multiple acts involving kidnapping, multiple acts involving arson, multiple acts involving bribery, tampering with a witness, forced labor, sex trafficking, possession, intent to distribute narcotics. P. Diddy, the defendant, agreed that a conspirator would commit at least 2 acts of racketeering activity in the conduct of affairs of the Combs Enterprise. Knowingly recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, provided, obtained, advertised, maintained, patronized, solicited by any means a person knowing and reckless disregard of the fact. That means of force, threat of force, fraud, and coercion. Count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution. Knowingly transport an individual in interstate and foreign commerce with intent that
Oh, he is fucked.
individual engaged in prostitution.
This is like, it's pretty much like a human trafficking charge.
Defendant shall forfeit all property, real and personal, derived from the proceeds obtained as a result of said offense, and any and all property, real or personal, that was used or intended to be used to commit or facilitate
Oh, he's gotta have to give up his cribs, yo.
the commission of said offense. But now, apparently his defense team has proposed a $50 million bail situation. Defense proposes the following bail package: $50 million bond, co-signed by Sean Combs, his mother, his sister, the mother of his oldest daughter, and his 3 adult sons. Secured by the equity in Mr. Combs' residence located at 2 West Star Island. The appraised value of the home is $48 million. In anticipation of the bail hearing on August 20th, paid off the remaining mortgage of about $18 million so that the home could be used as security bond and be free of mortgage. Bro just has $18 million to pay off a mortgage. He's worth about around $1 billion. So, God, that's just insane, because you know you're about to be arrested pretty much at a bail hearing. Mr. Combs' travel will be restricted by the Southern District of Florida. His passport was surrendered by counsel on April 1st. His counsel advised the prosecution of this fact in an email dated the same day. Passports of the following family members who have already surrendered their passports to counsel after the raids in Mr. Combs' homes. So all his family members also submitted their passports too.
Damn. The whole family gotta submit their passport. This is next level shit, chat. This is next level shit.
Think about how big of a piece of shit you have to be for your bail to be $50 million. The government respectfully submits this letter in anticipation of the defendant's appearance before this court later today and support of the government's request for the defendant's detention pending trial. There's no condition or combination of conditions that will reasonably assure the appearance of the defendant as required and the safety of others in the community. The defendant is dangerous and poses an ongoing threat to the safety of the community. If released, he remains a serious risk of flight despite the conditions offered by his counsel. The defendant also poses a significant risk of obstructing justice. During the course of the charged conduct, the defendant has attempted to bribe security staff and threatened to intervene with witnesses to his criminal conduct. He's already tried to obstruct the government's investigation of this case, repeatedly contacting victims and witnesses and feeding them false narratives.
Diddy's like a mob boss, man. He's like the final chapter.
Simply no conditions that would ensure the defendant's efforts to obstruct and tamper witnesses will stop. The defendant therefore cannot overcome the statutory in favor of detention, and the court should order him detained. I'm just now realizing he is like such a big head that he kind of looks like an alien. You know what I mean? Like his head is fucking massive, or at least the top half looks big. All right, that's pretty much it for.
Did he do or did he not, bro? That's the indictment, chat.